Strategy, to me, is about choosing. A lot of times you'll hear strategy is as much about what you choose not to do as it is what you choose to do. If choosing, to me, then, is about decisions. And if you deconstruct decisions, the formula is that a decision is composed of a set of options and then a set of criteria to evaluate those options. And that's basically what decisions are. And you'll see in the slides there's a funnel. And when you need to make an elaborate decision, then it's helpful to go through that strategy funnel in order to get to that decision. It just makes generating options and generating the evaluation criteria clearer and more elaborate than usual. This is important today because another one of the slides that you have there says that we have to make more decisions more frequently than we did before. And that's happening for three reasons, and they're impacting each part of the decision formula. Because of disruption, we have to make more decisions than we did before. It used to be that you could kind of count on something being the way it usually was, and you didn't have to think about that, and there wasn't a decision to be made. As disruption happens, it's kind of making things stirred up so that now we actually have to make a decision about that in a way that we didn't have to do that before. So we're having to make more decisions because of the abundance that technology has created and that our wealth has created. We also have more options than we've ever had before. My dad goes to the phone store, he's like, I just want a phone. Like, they give me 20 options and I just want a phone. That's happening in business all the time. What used to be a simple decision because it had a very small option set, now has a very large option set. And then the evaluation criteria, the challenge of that is that there's more uncertainty than there was before. So if I knew that I was going to be profitable this year, and the question was, where do I want to be in 3 years? Then my evaluation criteria is what's important for 3 years from now. But if I don't know if I'm going to be profitable this year or 3 years from now, then I'm not sure what my evaluation criteria are. Should it be this year, because I might not be able to afford the investment? Or should it be 3 years from now, because that's really where I'm going? So the uncertainty means that the evaluation criteria, like, you have to be more thoughtful about it. And so because of all of that, there's more work that needs to happen in this strategic management space. All right, I'm about to tie this to the rising leaders and the work that we have to do. So most of the time, we can make strategic decisions based on our gut, 80% of the time probably. And so this chart that I'm showing you is on the y-axis is how familiar is the situation. If it's very familiar, that's low. If it's new or unfamiliar, that's high. And then on the x-axis is how complicated is it. So on the right-hand side, is it simple? And on the left-hand side, is it a complicated decision? So you can operate in this intuitive space, the gut feel, 80% of the time. You're doing stuff that's familiar, and you're doing stuff that's relatively simple, especially if it's familiar. But because of disruption and abundance and uncertainty, more and more of our decisions are actually not in that lower left-hand corner, they're up in the right-hand corner. So they're more complicated than we expected, and they're doing things that we're not used to do. And so it means that that gut feel doesn't work as often as it did before. This is important because this is related to the generations. Because if you are down in that lower left corner and doing gut feel, you are way less open to input than you are if you recognize that you're in the upper right corner. So the message of this, for especially the existing current leaders, is you are probably in the space in the upper right-hand corner more often than you think you are. And because of that, getting more input than you're used to is going to be helpful. I'll say one more thing before I move off of this. If you think back in your business or your life, the places where you spent the most money, lost the most money, and made the biggest mistakes were when you thought you were in the lower left and you were actually in the upper right. You went into the situation where like, oh yeah, I've been here before. And if it doesn't go that way, it's really not going to be a big deal. And it turns out it wasn't what you thought you expected it to be, and man, was it more complicated think about that hire, you know, you like, this happens a lot when companies are hiring for the first time in a new position. So you've never had a VP of marketing. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I went to lunch, sounded good, hired that VP of marketing. There's all kinds of damage that can happen. You thought it was a lot more like all the other hires you did. It turned out it was a lot less like that.